Hi everyone, how are you today? Well, today we're going to talk about the word will. Now, you and I spoke about this before. We spoke about the word will to form the future tense. For example, next week I will go on holiday. I will go away soon. Yes, I will do that. So in this case, you can see that will clearly denotes the future. I will. We spoke about that in a previous lesson, how will is used to form the future tense. But will also has another use, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Will is designed to form the future, okay? Will also works in the present, and even in the immediate past. Let me give you an example. You can imagine a very cold morning, and you wander in and you say to your husband or wife, my car won't start. My car won't start. Okay, well that's the same as saying my car will not start. Now you can only say my car will not start if you've tried it. If you've tried it, it's in the past. Okay, so you're stating something from the immediate past. I had to come back in because my car won't start. Or you could be stating a fact about the present. My car won't start. That's even before you go out into the cold, to know that it's not going to start. You know there's something wrong with it. Another example of this is with the telephone. If you can imagine the telephone ringing and you say, I'll get it, which is the same as saying, I will get it. Now you can argue with me that that really is the future because you haven't picked up the phone yet. So it's kind of the future until you get to the phone and pick it up. But I think that's still the present because there's only a very small time frame between saying I will get it and actually doing it. And besides, it's something you're doing straight away. So it is the present. Ring, ring, I'll get it. I will get it. So it's not really forming the future, it's very much the present, in the same way as the car won't start. Another example of this is when your friend comes over and you say to them, will you have another cup of coffee? Now again, you could say to me, well, that really is the future. Well, maybe, but it's the very immediate future. Will you have another cup of coffee? Because he's going to get the coffee in exactly 2 seconds flat. Okay. So those are some other examples of how you would use will in the kind of present environment or the really immediate future. But there's some other ways as well, and we're going to look at those now. If you can imagine an action which is continuing and isn't coming to an end, you can use will then. Let me give you an example. My daughter won't stop crying. Okay, that is to say, my daughter will not stop crying. Okay. Now we're not referring to a future event there, we're stating a fact in the present. My daughter will not stop crying. My son won't stop crying. That's one way that you can use will in the present. Another way is to ask for help. Excuse me, will you give me a hand? Will you help me? Now I know it kind of sounds like it's the future because you're asking for something which isn't happening yet. Will you help me? Okay, but because it's happening in this moment, it is still technically the present. If you go for a meeting, perhaps the receptionist will say to you, will you please take a seat? Now that's got nothing to do with the future tense. She's inviting you to take a seat. So that's another way that will can be used outside of the future tense. Another way is, I'll help you. So they're not talking about the future, they're talking about an action now. Okay, so you're carrying some heavy bags, someone comes along and says, oh, don't worry, I'll help you. Going back to the phone example as well, the phone rings, oh, I'll get it. That'll be Mark. That will be Mark. So it's something which is happening in the kind of very near future, but it's so close, it's actually the present. Okay, so hopefully that helps explain how the word well can be used. So let's summarize. We spoke about how well, or will rather, can be used in forming the future tense. I will do that. Okay. While we're on the subject of well, listen to the difference. I am well. He will. Will, well. Okay. So for the purposes of this exercise, we're talking about will. Will. Okay. So getting back to what we were saying. So will can be used to form the future. I will do that. I will do that. Okay. And then we were talking about how will can be used for the present and the kind of immediate future. And some of the examples that we gave are, oh, the car won't start. That is to say, the car will not start, because you know the way we abbreviate will. Okay. But you're stating a fact in the present. In fact, not even in the present, but it might even be in the past, because if you walk back in the house and you say to your husband or your wife, oh, my car won't start, it's already happened. So it's kind of in the past and the very, very present. That's one way. My baby won't stop crying. So it's talking about a continuous action that doesn't appear to be coming to an end. Oh, they won't stop singing. So you can hear will is used, and it looks like it's forming the future tense if you were to write it all out, but it's abbreviated into won't. Okay, oh, my baby won't stop crying. Another way is to say, will you give me a hand when you ask for help? A receptionist in a shop might say to you, will you please take a seat while you're waiting? Will you please come with me? She's not talking about a future event, she's inviting you to do something. Another way of using it is for something which is a habit, okay? I won't forget. I will not forget to do that. I'm going back to the phone example again. Oh, I'll get it. That'll be Mark. Which is very strange because she hasn't answered the phone yet. So she's saying that's who it will be, which pushes it into the future, but it's an event which is happening now. Okay? Well, I hope that helps to explain a little bit more about will. And if you have any comments or questions, please just let me know. Alright? Thank you.